distinguished Deputy Minister, distinguished delegates. Since the start of the conflict, our approach towards the war has been clear and consistent. We stand with Ukraine in its efforts to protect its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We also support the efforts for finding a diplomatic end to the conflict. Our relations with and our support for Ukraine are well known. In fact, both Kiev and Moscow view Turkey as a reliable interlocutor. Neither side questions our intentions to broker a diplomatic way out of the current gridlock. So, we can facilitate diplomacy when the conditions allow. We do this without turning a blind eye to what is happening on the ground. We do not compromise our principled positions. We have been denouncing the unjustified Russian aggression from the beginning. The Black Sea Initiative has been a leading case in point. Upon the request of the UN and Ukraine, Turkey played a key facilitating role in finalizing the UN plan for the safe export of Ukrainian grain through the Black Sea. Thanks to Turkey's efforts and its contacts with Ukraine and Russia, which included consultations at the highest level, a historic deal, namely the Black Sea Initiative, was signed in Istanbul on 22nd of July 22. A memorandum of understanding was also agreed to between the UN and Russia on the export of the Russian grain and fertilizer as a part of a package to relieve pressure on the world food markets. For the operations under the initiative, a joint coordination center was set up in Istanbul with the participation of the experts from Ukraine, Turkey, Russia, and the UN. Since it began last August, more than 32 million tons of grain and related foodstuff have been exported from 3 Ukrainian ports to 45 countries across 3 continents. The initiative has also supplied World Food Programme's ongoing humanitarian operations in Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, and Yemen. It has brought stability to global food markets and lowered food prices for less developed countries. This is also shown in the relevant FAO reports. We ensured its extension twice through great efforts. Now we are at another critical juncture since the initiative will expire on the 17th of July. Russia announced that they expect to see progress regarding the export of their grain and fertilizer for the further continuation of the initiative. Unless their demands are met, they say they will terminate the initiative after July 17th. Russia also criticizes the destination of the exported grain. Actually, developing countries are the biggest buyer of the Ukrainian grain that has been shipped via the Black Sea Initiative. Despite its shortcomings, the initiative continues to deliver for all parties involved. We believe ending the initiative will harm everyone's interest. Therefore, we remain committed to the continuation of the initiative. This unique deal must be preserved. We also underline the importance of the seamless implementation of the UN-Russia MOU for food security and preventing a global fertilizer crunch. We welcome the UN's efforts in this regard and important steps taken by the leading Western countries. Both the Black Sea Initiative and the UN-Russia MOU remain a lifeline for global food security. Therefore, we must do our best to protect these agreements. Turkey will continue to play its part to this end. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Gücük. And now I'd like to welcome the Netherlands Ambassador, Marcel Beukeboom, to the stage. Or to the podium.
In Ukraine. Let me start by expressing our solidarity with Ukraine and underscore our commitment to do whatever we can to stop the war and rebuild the country. In this short intervention, I would like to make 3 quick points Examples of what we do to help Ukraine and that hopefully have a positive impact on global food security. Examples that could perhaps also inspire others to join. As a country that strongly believes in multilateral solutions to global problems, we invested in the UN Secretary General's Global Crisis Response Group together with Spain and the EU. For investments in reconstruction of the severely damaged infrastructure and for emergency relief, we work with multilateral institutions like WFP and IFAD, the World Bank, and with multilateral investment banks. And of course, the International Center for the Prosecution of the Crime of Aggression against Ukraine is established in The Hague, the International City of Peace and Justice. This international center will investigate the crime of aggression in Ukraine with the ultimate aim of prosecuting those responsible for the invasion. Second, in our support, we try to concentrate on those modalities and subjects we think have added value. It will not surprise you when I say the private sector is an important partner for us, especially in water and agriculture. In helping the reconstruction, extra subsidies and guarantees are lowering the risks to invest in Ukraine. In this effort, building back better is a guiding principle, also with a view to prepare Ukraine's economic integration in the European family. My third point is somewhat technical. As the war in Ukraine has severe negative consequences for global food security, we try to do as much as we can to end the war and get Ukraine back on its feet. This will benefit developing countries, amongst others by stabilizing global food prices. Several speakers refer to that. We sometimes hear the sentiment that all these investments in Ukraine divert funds that would otherwise be destined for developing countries. It is important to note that our whole support package of €2.5 billion is additional to our ODA. Chair, multilateral cooperation, public-private partnerships, and additionality are key building blocks of our support to Ukraine. The ultimate goal, of course, an end to the war and justice for all. You can count on us.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Chair, Deputy Minister, Ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to our Ukrainian colleagues, to Chief Economist Maximo Terrero and his RBA colleagues Arif and Dina, to the US delegation and others that have suggested and organized this important side event. It is particularly good to see the three RBAs well represented on the podium. Your presence and your remarks confirms once again the extent to which Russia's war of aggression and the wholesale destruction of infrastructure and the agricultural sector of the country perpetuated by Russia has deep and dire consequences for global food security. And it also confirms that this war and its consequences directly affect the mandate and the tasks of the three UN Rome organizations. It is not politicization, as some have mentioned, but it goes at the heart and to the heart of the RBA's daily business. This indeed as reflected in decisions in 3 consecutive FAO Council meetings. I would also like, in starting, to express our strong solidarity and support to the government and the people of Ukraine. The consequences of Russia's war, including price hikes and market distortion, are felt, in addition to so much in Ukraine itself, as we have heard, in particular by populations and countries that are worse off in this world with regard to food security. The World Food Programme estimates that more than 345 million people worldwide now face high levels of food insecurity, twice the number roughly in 2020. I would like to make 2 points. Norway earlier this year enacted a 5-year support program for Ukraine, named after the humanitarian Fridtjof Nansen, the Nansen program, worth 7 billion euros. Nansen was the League of Nations' first High Commissioner for Refugees, and he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1922 for his efforts in mobilizing against hunger and famine after the First World War. Attached to the Nansen program is a supplemental for 2023 of 500 million euro for developing countries most affected by the consequence of the war, in particular in Africa. And a significant part of this funding is being dispersed to the 3 Rome organizations, with one half targeted for acute humanitarian support and the other 50% for building resilience and food security. So we have provided rapid funding to the FAO Sfera Fund, to the IFAD Crisis Response Initiative, and to the WFP Immediate Response Account and other instruments. I say this, ladies and gentlemen, because all our states have committed to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. This illegal, senseless, and hugely destructive war is, in addition to so much else, a broadside leveled against the achievements of the SDGs, SDG 2 Zero Hunger, SDG 2 Zero Hunger in particular, and the world's poor. Secondly, we join our voice in urging that the Black Sea grain agreements be extended, and not only for 2 or 4 months at a time. We are very grateful for the efforts of Turkey, Ukraine, and the UN Secretary General and his team to extend this initiative to the benefit of global food security. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador, and thank you all for your insights. These interventions, combined with the briefings today, make one thing very clear. The Black Sea Grain Initiative has been instrumental in ensuring